Welcome to Innovate Asia, a podcast spotlighting visionary pioneers tackling Asia's toughest challenges with groundbreaking ideas.
I'm growing in a booming generation of the Thai economy, hoping that we will become the giant economic countries like that. But then we faced the economic crisis. You might have known that Yam Goong disease. Booming is not really fix the gap of the people at all. So the growth, it just benefits the rich people to get richer. Of course, poor people have developed some quality of life. It's uncomparable with the part of the benefit that the rich people and the big businessmen and the politicians reaping from the booming. And then when it crashed, all the people just devastated. You put your time into studying Bitcoin, you will find something that probably contradicted with all of the things that you have been believed all of your life. It can answer some question that you cannot answer before. That is something fascinating, I found it. I think the money will be the same. We move away from the money from the state, not because we would like to try to protest, but we move away because it's better. Considering how big our bureaucracy are, they cannot move that far to follow the technology anymore. So they cannot protect our property like they used to be very efficient to protect us, right? I'm interested in investment. I know a lot about how to read the financial statements, the PE ratio, the PB ratio, the dividend yields, and everything, right? But what made me question this system is, do everybody in Thailand need to know this to be able to build their wealth? They have to do this to survive in this system? No. I don't think that is the system I would like my son or my daughter to growing up.
All right, so we're on the same team. Sweet, Coon Bell. I'm really excited for this talk. A few weeks back, I read the transcript of your conversation with Coon Phi.
Yes.
And I literally said, this guy totally gets it. Like, you have a very clear understanding of the challenges and even a better understanding of the solution. And
thank you.
And I had to read it because I don't speak Thai. So I had to translate it through Grok or ChatGPT. And then so I'm reading and I'm like, wow, this is really great. Wow, so that's, just to hear that, I'm even more excited because about a month ago, I ran into you at an event at the Citadel Coffee. And you were one of the first people that I shared this vision of these Innovate podcasts.
Right.
And I was very animated, and it seems like you felt my passion and of my interest in getting the message out in a different way. So for context for the viewers, roughly 90 days ago, our team launched a podcast that reached nearly 100,000 views and over 2,000 subscribers, discussing Bitcoin as a tool in native Thai language. And I thought, wow, if we keep this up, we're going to reach 1 million people. And then I thought, okay, we have some limitations. One, we're going to run out of Bitcoiners. Two, we're just in Thai language. Why don't we see if we could extend this out into other local nations, even Southeast Asia, as I explained to you in person? And then I said, okay, well, what about all of the people in Asia and Southeast Asia that speak English, that have these, understand these challenges and have these bold solutions? I said, then we need to have an English podcast. Because you can't just put an English person on a Thai podcast. It doesn't work because the viewers are different. So I'm really glad that I had a chance to meet you both at the Bitcoin building, later again at the Citadel, and share this big vision. And I think that you're uniquely positioned to address this topic, specifically because you studied in Europe, you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, you speak fluent English, and you have a very good understanding on the subject. So, lastly, before we get into your background and how you arrived at Bitcoin, I want to thank you for doing this in English. And I can't imagine attempting to discuss this topic in a different language. So even if our talk just helps 10 or 20 people enhance their knowledge, like this is success to me. I don't have this grand vision that we've got to have these huge views and subscribers. I just want to help some people along. And I think that you are well positioned to talk on this subject. So thank you very much for joining. And I'm really excited to hear a little bit about your background, how you came to Bitcoin. And then I have a list of about 8 or 10 questions, and we could just free flow from there. And I'll take it from there.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jimmy, for having us at Chiang Mai as well. We met at the start of the year, probably around March, I guess, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, and I went with my girlfriend, and she said that we have to visit at the BLC because we watch a lot of your podcasts, interviewing your staff and interviewing the new next generations, and it touching my feeling, touching my heart that we used to be just like that too, right? You just freshly graduated and we don't know what to do, which career we would like to pursue and everything. But they found Bitcoin, they found the way, they found something that they can save in it, and they can reassure that their future will be better to be planned by having the Bitcoin in the savings. So thank you very much to creating such a wonderful project in Chiang Mai.
Yep. Thank you for those kind words.
Thank you for your kind words too. But and I have to say that English is not really my native language, so I will try my best to explain some such a complicated things in Bitcoin, in political system and economic system. I'm not the expert, I have to say so, but I can share my opinions about stuff, about the books I read, and when you put your time into studying Bitcoin, you will find something that probably contradicted with all of the things that you have been believed of your life, and then you will find something really new, and it can answer some question that you cannot answer before, and that is something fascinating. I found it. Yeah,
sure.
Very exciting to talk with you, to discuss something with you. I'm actually the Thai people. I'm actually a Thai, one of the Thai people. I was born in Bangkok, and study all my life in Bangkok until I got the chance to study in Sweden in a master degree, just a year, and it's such a great experiences because it's not just a studying. I'm traveling a lot, seeing all the world in Europe, all across Europe, and I have to thank technology for that, because back like 10 years or 20 let's say 20 years or 30 years ago, it's really hard to fly around and it's very expensive. But later on, I think it's when I was in Europe, the trend of the low-cost airline, it just become really booming, and we can fly all across Europe with a really, really cheap price, like unbelievable cheap. And so that's why we have a chance to travel around. And I think new generation can take the benefit of that with the advances technology over time. And then I chose Sweden because when I study in political science, and I'm such a skeptic about the wealth gap, about why people in Thailand have such a huge gap between rich and poor. And I study a lot about uh, Marxism, about the socialism, about the uh, welfare state. And when you think about welfare state system, you will one of the country that you will pop up in your mind like a role model for the welfare state system is Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, and that is something I'm interested in when I was studying in political science. So that's why I chose Sweden and chose to study. And yeah, I've learned a lot of things about the welfare state. Not in details, not in uh, academic level, but at least I know how it is. I can see the pictures, how it is, and it also has advantages and also the disadvantages it made me think in a different way right now in nowadays. So
Do you believe that living in Sweden is helped shape your entrepreneurial journey into your business today?
yes, I think so. I think I'm not really the guy that when doing business, I'm reaching for like more and more and more money all the time. I I I really believe in such a balance, and I think um, we don't have to be big to be successful, because when you're living in such a intense capitalist system, you will have a mind that you have to grow and grow and grow nominally, to have the bigger sales, bigger profit to prove you are successful all the time. But when I live in Sweden, I come to think that it doesn't have to be that way all the time. It doesn't have to always be that way. You can be small, you can be successful, and with the technology nowadays, it's it it feels like the world is moving towards my belief. So right now you don't have to be big anymore. You don't have to hire like 100 or 1,000 employees anymore to create a successful business or to create the successful companies, right? Yeah,
Right.
that's
Right.
something I've learned, that they are pretty laid back because they have the welfare that waiting for them when they retired from the work that they are working right now. So it's not that they are thriving all the time. It's not that they have to compete with each other all the time, and everyone will be quite normal, living in the same way, living in the uh, quite similar quality of living in Sweden. That's why it. I think it taught me how to learn to be slower, move slower, something like that. Yeah.
And before that, how was your mind frame before these
Mm,
experiences?
mm, mm.
Can you
It's
think about that in a way of if you didn't go to a study abroad and travel, were you still curious about these, the wealth inequality and
mm.
this way of living, or do you think that had a very profound effect on your life?
Well, I am a skeptic before that, since I'm studying in a bachelor degree in Bangkok, Thailand already. It's because I'm growing in the booming generation of the Thai economic. We was hoping that we will become the giant economic countries, to be the developed one of the developed country in Asia, like Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan, something like that. But then we faced the economic crisis. You might have known that Tom Yam Goong disease is
Hmm.
it's a big economic crisis in Thailand. So when I was a child, I I see the boom, and then I see the collapse, and then I see the gap, that the booming is not really fix the gap of the people at all. So the growth, it just benefit the rich people to get richer. Of course, poor people have developed some quality of life. Of course, it's when you're comparing to before, but it's not the part of the benefit they got is uncomparable with the part of the benefit that the rich people and the big businessmen and the politicians reaping from the booming. And then when it crashed, all the people just devastated. So the gap is the gap didn't go away at all. So after when I graduated from bachelor degrees, I study about like I say, studied about the socialism and about the welfare state. That it's something. It's not really the mainstream knowledge, right? At that point of time in Thailand. But right now, you will see the new generations talking about the welfare state a lot and talking about what is the benefit of paying taxes in Thailand when they go old. Will they have that benefit too, or will they have the welfare system that can look after them like the people have in European and American, for the example. But you know that the system in Europe is also struggle as well. Even in the countries that are the role model in welfare state system, like Denmark, like Sweden, like Norway, they are feeling about the problems in the future that will come to them in the aging society. They have to. So we have to think about it as well. That even the successful welfare state system, they still struggle, and you have to know that.
I want to parlay this into how Bitcoin redefines the purpose of the state, but before I do that, I want to have an understanding of how you arrived at Bitcoin as a potential solution to some of these problems, and then I want to ask you some of these related questions to exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I found Bitcoin because I have my own problem. I have my own question in my mind. When I'm doing my business, and also I'm an investor. I'm very interested in the stock market, in real estate investment. So I was in the era that the stock is so cheap. The business is the stock market is like low, and a stock of the good company, quality company, is not that expensive at all. You can buy some company and you expect that, okay, like 5 years, 6 years, you can see the profit from the business part of view. You can invest in stock market like a businessman at that point of time. But then later on, when more money pouring into the market, I can see, I won't say it's a bubble, but I can see that the stock price is going up, and I don't think there is the foundation, a firm foundation to support it. And but the funny thing is, the securities company, the broker company, we always say that, no, you cannot use the same principle to choose the stock to buy anymore. You have to see the growth. You have to accepting to buy some expensive stuff and expecting they will grow and grow and grow and grow even more than nowadays. I don't buy that. So I'm asking myself, what happened? Why? And I'm studying a lot about that, and I'm come across with the money, with the idea of the money printing, the QE and the quantitative easing and everything about that. And it's something like it's a jigsaw, and you point it up to, and you put it together bit by bit, piece by piece, and then you come across the Bitcoin. Later on, I actually have heard about Bitcoin, like, come on, I'm not so sure about the year, but it will be 2010 something. 2012. It's quite early. At that point, at that time, there is the app that you can stumble on the website and internet, and it show up random uh, website, and it's brought up the Bitcoin, but I thought that it's a scam. I think all the people that have heard about Bitcoin at the first time will think like quite the same as just like me. It's a scam. No, come on, internet money. Money should be come from the state, right? Should be come from the government, of course. And then later, I start to question the system a little bit and learning about the money printing. And then the Bitcoin is like the last pieces of the jigsaw that fit perfectly in my mind. That's why the Bitcoin is coming into my perspective.
I could see you light up, like your expression is just like really, how do you say? It's very illuminating, and it's like when you start
Yes.
speaking about it, it's like you're an investor over this period of time. You're trying to learn about growth stocks and how to measure the company and what's the right investment. And then when you start talking about Bitcoin, you could physically see your facial expression like light up, that like there's a sense of relief, almost like you had mentioned a little bit earlier, of how you don't need to chase after all of this money. You don't have, all of this big dreams. They say you got to make more and do more and grow more and just keep going. That I think that you can see in your expression that this is a perfect fit for you, because this creates that balance where you could just save in this monetary instrument and let it do its thing and focus on more about what you're interested in and allow that. And now all of a sudden it starts to affect your life in many ways. And I think that you and I both share that, that impact that Bitcoin has had. And there's so many, it's such a wide ranging topic that we could go into so many different areas. And I do want to try to talk about the investment side maybe a little bit later, because I think it's fascinating for sure, especially now where we are in the grand scheme of things. But before that, I do want to get to some of these questions that specifically to ask you, because I think that you understand this area well. And I want to ask you how you feel, or how does Bitcoin redefine the purpose of the state, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, I think the purpose of the government and the state, I think the purpose is still the same. But the purpose of the state or government that we have is because people gather together to live in a society and have to find some authority to protect their life and property. Right, that is the basic principle of why we need the government. Otherwise, we will live like really separated, and we will probably attack each other all the time, right? So when we're living together, we have to find the mutual authority to protect us, to protect the life and the property. So purpose is still the same, but I think with Bitcoin, you will have more freedom under the government. So, there is many thinkers saying that when you're living together as a society, you sacrifice some of your freedom to live together, and you sacrifice that freedom to the government. So you cannot do everything as you please anymore in the state, and that won't go away. But it seems like the nation states nowadays can decrease our freedom, and we cannot take it back, right? So under the political philosopher thinker like John Locke, he said that you give the freedom, but you have the right to take it back. anytime you want when the government didn't do anything, didn't treat you best. So you have all the right to take your freedom back, and then probably move away, or probably go somewhere else, go some other society that you think they will treat you better, and then sacrifice your freedom again under that government. So because people is like a social animal, so I don't think people will start living separately. We will live together, and at some point we need the government. But I think with Bitcoin we will have more freedom, and the government will be smaller, less powerful, cannot really limit what can we do and what we cannot do. They cannot force the taxes upon that anymore. The tax will be voluntary. We will not be forced to pay tax, but we will pay the tax as a service fee for the government, that the government will have to compete and to develop the efficiency of how they manage the society that we are living in. So we are voluntary to pay tax as a service fee to live in that society. Something like that. Something like the freedom. We will have more freedom under that.
If they're not, so like a service provider, like if they're not meeting the expectation, then the people will not pay for the service.
Yeah, it's like the Bitcoin is like a peaceful move out. So because without Bitcoin, without the freedom, so you will have a feeling like you have to stay here, right? You can't. You have no choice. You are less powerful than the state, than the government, right? But if you have the property that you can move, and nobody can control it, government cannot control it, government cannot tax it out of your will. So you will have, the politics is like a structure of power. Right now, government have the more power over you, right? So if you would like government to be better, and all the time we are trying to find a solution that, okay, we have to elect the good people to govern us. And no, I don't think that is a really good solution so far, because all the time we will see that, oh, it's the same politicians again, and they will corrupt it. They will have with the really, really complex system in the bureaucracy and in the political system. They will find a way to corrupt it in their power all the time. So what is the next solution? If you think that, come on, we cannot trust politicians like this forever. So you have to flip the structure of power. You have to find a way that, how could we be more powerful than the government? The government have to ask us, not us to ask the government. That's why we need the property that they cannot control. It's the incentive. Yeah, something.
This is great. Do you think that, I mean, how much friction, how much fighting, is this going to be a big fight, do you think, or is it so ingrained already to where, how do you look at that transition from where are they going to be smart enough to accept that this is the situation and the scenario, or are they going to try to tighten controls, tighten the off ramps, tax or find ways? Is this going to be a big fight in your opinion? How do you look at that?
Well, it's not gonna be a dramatic change in one go. I don't think so. It will evolve over time, because, like you might have heard, the Bitcoin is like a peaceful revolution. So it's not something that you gather people, go on the street, go in, let's protest, make a big protest, and burn the houses down, burn the government place down. No, it's not just like that. But it's like adopting the new technology. And you can see and you can see the trend about this, that we don't have to cooperate it. The people do not have to cooperate it to make this change. And it's actually be more powerful than the protest on the street. I talking about this example with Phai in Thai language before, but about the media. When we move the media from offline to online, the analog television. The analog television is something that government can control completely, and they have to give the contract to the private company who can own the TV channel in each nation state. But coming with the social media on the internet, so the media is like everybody can be a media, and people didn't move from the analog television to the online media because we would like to protest the government. No, we just think that it's better. We didn't cooperate it. I didn't tell you that let's move to Facebook. Forget about the government. Government is bad. Let's move to Facebook. Let's move to YouTube. Stop watching the 3 channel or 7 channel in Thailand. We call that one. We didn't cooperate just like that. We move away because the new thing is better. I think the money will be the same. We move away from the money from the state, not because we would like to try to protest, but we move away because it's better. That's it. We won't cooperate. Everybody will keep one by one to the new thing that is better, and then suddenly it's got a big impact, and then government cannot do anything anymore at that point of time, right? So I think that is an exciting scenario that I really would like to see that how it will turn out.
I would like to see exactly that too. Do you think that we still need the state, right?
Yes.
Like we still need the state. So do you think it can't obsolete the state? So
No.
how do you look at that?
Mm-hmm.
How much of the state do we need?
Mm-hmm.
And for what? Rule of law? Tell me how you think of that.
Well, it's not obsolete completely. No, I don't really think that people will living together in a big society without any rules, without any mutual rules, without any people that operating the rules at all.
Sure, I agree.
So you still can see there is a government in every society, but that government will be really small. They are not really powerful like what we are seeing nowadays. They cannot force people to do anything just like they pleased anymore. And the big part is that they cannot forcing the tax on people efficiently like they are doing right now. And that is the big part that make government cannot do everything like they are doing right these days. And humans are social animals, of course. We cannot live separately. We cannot live, we have to live together. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any fun, right?
Yeah.
We need to party. We need to find go to the pub, having some beers and everything. That is society can provide. And the government will have to, at first, the government have just only one duty, to protect our life and property. That's it. I think the government in the future will be really small, and they will going back to their principle again, to their original, or again, that they will just have the duty to protect life and property, and everything else, we can figure it out ourselves.
It's amazing that we could have this conversation, because I believe if there was not this new technology, Bitcoin, we would not be able to even think like this, because the way the incentives are, the system is, the way that the current system is so broken that we couldn't even light up and smile about like
Right.
thinking about smaller communities and absurd laws going away and just
Right.
protecting property and protecting people. Like
Yes.
it's amazing that we could have this conversation,
Mhm.
which brings so much hope to
Mhm.
to Bitcoin and why we believe it is the future. Because I
Right.
believe that you know, the common saying is fix the money, fix the world in the Bitcoin world. And like, it's so true, but we couldn't even have these conversations together
Right.
if, if we didn't have this alternative, you
True.
know? So, I think it's fascinating to think through that. I wanted to ask you more about the state as a service provider. Like,
Yes.
is the state an outdated service provider? And walk me through some things that, or analogies of how we look at the state as a service provider. I think that's a fascinating topic to talk about.
Right, right. So, like we said before, that the state has duty, the main duty of the state and the government, that to protect our life and the property, right? So the technology made us to have the private property. Before that, at the when you're going back far, far back at the hunting gathering society that we used to be, we don't have the technology of the agriculture technology. So when we don't have any agriculture technology, we don't have the lab stocks, we don't have to stock the food, we cannot stock any food at all. We just move from place to place and hunting and gathering. So when we discover the technology like the agriculture technology, that's why we learn to collect the food. And we started to have the private property because we need the land to do some agriculture, right? So we started to have the private property, and then that is why the state become necessary, because we need someone to protect our property. Otherwise, we will be looted, and our crops will be stolen, everything. So the the state is not really a static things. They evolve over time as well. So we used to have like a Roman Empire, and then we become the Roman Catholic. The with we at some point of time we governed by the Pope, and then when we have the gunpowder revolution, that's why we starting to have and the modern nation state like we are knowing today. So it used to be, I think, to your question, is it the outdated service provider? I think it used to be very efficient with the slower technology, with the property that stays still, like a land, like a gold, like a something like a factory in the land, something like that. The property that cannot move with you, right? But when the communication getting faster and faster with the internet, with the everything like a wireless thing, information technology, I think considering how big our bureaucracy are, they cannot move that fast to follow the technology anymore. So they cannot protect our property like they used to be very efficient to protect us, right?
Definitely.
So let's say something like the call center scam. If you're living in Thailand, you will know about this. That is a call
Yes.
center scam. So the call center scam coming with the mobile banking, right? Without mobile banking, there is no call center scam, because with the call center scam, you can transfer money from your mobile phone. That's why it's the weakest link. That is the weak point that the call center scam can attacking the people that holding the mobile banking in their hand. So the technology making the scam just like it happen, and the state will be struggle to protect us. They don't know now how they can do it, right? So, and then when they try to protect us, it's just unavoidable that they will violating some of our freedom as well. Because, okay, so let's say that when they try to protect us against the call center scam, what they come up with is the new regulation that when you would like to transfer money more than 50,000 baht, you have to scan your face, right? So some people will think that, yeah, that's good. That is the way, the solution to protect us, right? But some people will think, no, come on. That's my money, bro. That's my money. I should have all the right to transfer it, right? Something like that. Or when you would like to transfer money to foreign countries, you have to provide all the documents, all the proof that what is the objective of transferring this amount of money out of Thailand. And then someone say that, yeah, sure, that is to protect us from the money laundering. But some people will say, come on, man, that's my money. I would like to transfer it to somewhere else. It's my right to do it. It's my freedom to do it, right? So you will see some dilemma. One part of it you have to think about, if you are the state, you are not efficient to protect the property that move so quickly anymore with your tools in your hands. So come to the question that, is it the outdated service provider? I think considering how powerful they are, they will try their best to try to protect us, and then they will violating our freedom over and over and over, and then suddenly, it's gradually and then suddenly people will say that that's too much. I don't think you are doing a good thing anymore. You are stepping too far, and we need other system. We need other money. We don't need better government, man. We need better money.
And it's not like we hate them. We don't hate the government, right?
No. I think I have the sympathetic about that, because if we are the state, if myself are the state, I don't have too much choices to protect the people anymore. I probably will come up with the same rules, because our tool is like, it's out of our hand right now, because the property is not stay still within the nation state anymore. It used to be, right? If it used to be like that and it stay like that all the time, fine. State will be like all powerful and protecting us efficiently. But because technology didn't stop, technology is always keep advancing all the time. So one day state will say that, come on, this is our upper hand now. We cannot do anything anymore, and people will move away.
It's like this is one of the only tools in their toolbox that they have, is to tighten, add regulation. And when you add regulation, it drives the people further away. And now, as you're saying, Bell, with technology moving faster than that, and the state the bureaucracy is very slow. It's coming to a pretty quick, suddenly moment for different states and different societies and different nations. Because look at like things like AI, I just was watching Elon talk about how the FAA, the FAA system is still using like 1995 Windows floppy disks. It's such a big organization. It's so hard for them to make these changes, and this doesn't talk to the other left hand, doesn't talk to the right hand.
Sure.
So now you have all of these permissionless or new technologies that are arriving. The government has to use something in their toolbox, and they're going to say, okay, well, to stop the scammers from taking money from you guys, we're going to add facial recognition and some extra clicks. And now all of a sudden they have like eyes on all of your transactions over 50,000. Right. And now it's like, you guys weren't so kind in the beginning. I'm not so sure you're going to do the right things with this information. And it almost starts to feel like it's I think we're at an inflection point where the new leadership, the of the younger senators, governors, mayors that are coming into power, they have an option. They could either they must continue the system path, the way of the old way, or embrace the new way. And the new way is inevitable because there is this new technology that says, you know what? Fuck this, dude. I'm out of here. Like I'm out.
Right.
I'm gonna go to Switzerland. I'm gonna take my money with me. I'm gonna live there. I'll go visit family in Thailand and the business in Thailand every few months. And I'm gonna go, like you said, offline. Go where, or you said online. Go where you're treated best.
Right.
Because the state is colliding. There's a collision happening right now.
Right.
And I don't think as humans we understand well enough how quickly that happens and what that looks like. So, I guess like a message to leadership is like, this is one of the reasons we're doing this podcast is because there's not enough people educating about this technology. Yes, they're talking about AI, and yes, they're talking about the newest things and with the internet. But really, the one thing that solves everything is fixing the money, and it opens up so many doors for the government. Yes. It opens up so many opportunities to bring people to Thailand to be like you saw when you were a kid. This booming thing, and keep it sustaining. And we could be the leader in Thailand as the digital innovation hub. And we could be the example. So there's so much opportunity rooted in exactly what you're sharing. You're telling us, you're painting our future very clearly, and it's inevitable. And we must work with leadership and local government to help them cross the Rubicon and embrace this. So instead of dividing us, we could bring it all together.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like you said, it's a choices that they would like to choose or not, right? So thinking about the roles of the government, of the states, that when the crime is low, you can be slow because the crime is low. Right, you can be all slow all you want.
Yeah.
As far as you can still protect us, right? But when the crime is so fast, you cannot be slow anymore. You have to be fast. And but the government over time, they were just creating the layer of the bureaucracy and the layer of the laws, regulation, everything. The layers become the layers, become the layers, become the layers, and then become too slow. And then they are getting slower all the time, and it's contradicted with the technology. Technology is getting faster, but the government is getting slower. So that is something that they need to choose to fix it. But then it will contradict of the objective of the nation state nowadays. Like, if you think, how could we can be faster without the government? For me, I think they need to be smaller. So they need to be smaller and they need to be more autonomous, right? So if you think about the company, if your company have employees, like 1,000 employees, it's really slow to change anything, right? Definitely. But if you're breaking down that company into like 100 company with 10 employees, you will see that each company will move really, really fast. Yep. And they will operate within the company really, really fast. But that will contradict with the ideology of the nation state, such as Thailand. We are one. We cannot be separated. Each provinces cannot be completely or totally autonomous. We need the central control from Bangkok to command everyone, every provinces that we have. 77 provinces have to be under the central government. So we cannot fathom, we cannot really accept the idea that each provinces will elect their leader that uh, with all the power to tax people within the provinces as like just like they are the separated country. We cannot think something like that. But then if you think so, you will get stuck in a slow system with the advancing faster technology, and you are not outdated right now, but if you are not be careful, you will be outdated really, really soon without you knowing it.
So let's think this through. So
Mhm.
you present this to the dinosaurs, we'll call them, as we like to say, the people in power for a long time, and you
Mhm.
say, okay, these are our alternatives. If we don't move forward with the times, we are going to fracture and break, and everything's
Right.
just going to be totally destroyed and devastated. So the longer that we wait to make a transition into maybe these smaller provinces or maybe pockets or teams or groups, then they're stuck with in a rock and a hard place. They want to continue to you want to keep your power and your status and all these things for as long as possible, right? But if you really truly care about the future of your country and your people and the next generation and the children, you have to make this decision now, like soon,
Mm. Mm.
because you're running the risk of the technology coming too quick, you're too big and slow, and the collision course is not good. And it's actually already happening.
Yep.
Like it's already happening. You could point to so many different obvious things right now. So what do you say to them? Like, well, how do you tell, what is it that will help them? Is it time? Does things have to break? Does it have to get really bad before it gets better? I mean, because we're humans and power doesn't want to lose their power?
Well,
Or are they intelligent enough
mm,
to make the transition?
mm, mm. That is a really interesting question you ask, huh? I'm thinking that made me think about email. You know why this made me think about email? When the world introduced email to the companies, and the company has a really old executive that always using the letter inside the companies all the time. They never used email before. They are not familiar with the emails. The solution is no. I don't think it serves us. I don't think it's suitable for our company. We will still use letter. No need to use emails, right? But then when they retired, and then the new executive, who is really familiar with the new technologies, come into power, come in to be the manager, come into the head of the company, they start introducing a little bit of email to every section of the company. That's why I think time one other thing is time, but not the only thing, and not only the top-down policy as well. Even the people can have the power to change the government, like we talked before at the beginning of the podcast, like the social media, like the online media. We didn't wait for the government to say that let's move to social media. We didn't, right? We moved to use it because it's better. We know it's better. That's why I want back. And we didn't move every people to that all the same time. So young people go first, and late adopters get into second. But we will still all benefit from the faster communication, faster media, and everything. So and then the government move last, right? So because people already moved to the system that they cannot control anymore. So what they can do, they will just, oh, come on, we cannot control them anymore. We have just to regulate them later. So it's not only the top-down policy. If they don't listen to us, fine. we can do whatever we can do by ourselves. We can adopting the technology. I think I really love the project that in Galasin with Mick, who is starting the bottom down, the ground up of the adopting the technology. And you see, I actually talked with my girlfriend that give them 5 to 10 years. I think even CNN or CNBC or the international news media will go to that district, will go to Hue Phung at Galasin to see that this is the new economic system with the new technology of money, and that make that area prosper from the area that nothing at all. They're joking themselves like they have nothing, right? To the district that people can prosper, people can save in the new technology, money such as Bitcoin, and then they can plan the future better than they can plan on saving in Thai baht or in stock market or in US dollar or whatever it is, if the old technology. I think the bottom up probably will be much, much more powerful to change this without coordinating. And that is the most fascinating part I have. Without coordinating, without having to say each other, let's move. We will move when we think it's better. And you know what? I'm not brave enough to give this interview in Thai, but I think one of the best incentive that people, Thai people or whose nationality it is, will adopting the new money is because of the tax. When they cannot tax, because when you asking the Thai people saying that like something like, yeah, I'm happy to pay tax if there is something that I can get back that worth the taxes I paid. But right now I'm not seeing that, but I have to because I'm being forced to pay tax. But when you introduce some money and saying that you use this money and you don't have to pay tax, probably that is the incentive. We don't think about freedom first. The freedom is something we cannot eat. So normal people will like, why we need freedom? I'm fine. But when you say that, okay, let's look at something like this. So you can forget about freedom, but you don't have to pay tax if you're using this kind of money, and you can transfer in quickly like a prompt pay, like the Thai baht, but you just don't have to pay tax. No government can see your transaction. No government will come and see that. Okay, I see your transaction. I would like to tax you with that transaction. They cannot do that. People will probably will have some glow in their eyes and say that, really? I don't have to pay tax? If I use this kind of money, let's do it. Let's use it. Probably this kind of way is not really good for the country in some people perspective, but I think it's the incentive that will make people move away from this kind of system to the new system very quickly. Maybe quicker than we are estimated.
I love how excited you get about this. Like, this is so good. And how you see it from the bottom up, like how when you're talking, I'm thinking, like water flowing down a hill is just naturally going to be the better alternative, the better solution for these people that are already just as poor as you could be down there day by day. But I think there's also another wonderful thing that it does for the poorest in the nations is it changes the behavior from spend it as soon as I get it to, oh, this appreciates over time. And now it opens up like, oh, I could save in this because I remember, 5 years ago, pork, rice, cooking oil in Thailand was 50% less. And that was 5 years ago. So now I'm thinking I just need to get by, just day to day. And I don't have much hope.
Right.
But here it's like, wow, over time, over it changes the behavior of instead of having to worry about there's no future for me, that if I save in this, wow, my emergency savings is more than I need for an emergency.
Right.
Now I could use this for an investment or small business or more product, or so there's so much there. And I love how illuminated you get when you talk about like the Hoi Pung project and how like
Yes.
CNN could get out there. I think me and you and Air and Phi should get out there together one day and go support them.
Exactly. I think the news will go, and I don't really have the high hope with the project that government would like to do. You have heard the news that the government would like to do some like a sandbox to use the cryptocurrency and everything. I don't think that will make, the policies keep changing all the time. I think the powerful thing should be from the ground up, should be from the bottom up, like the project in Hoi Ping and everything. That is, and the project like you are doing in Chiang Mai as well. I have to kudos for that. Like that is really interesting project, and I think it's gonna be really, really good for the Thai society, for the northern people. I'm really sure about that.
It's all about education, but with that sandbox in Phuket, like sometimes we got to let them. Sometimes you have to let children, government learn the hard way.
Yeah, sure.
So they're controlling this sandbox situation in Bangkok, in Phuket. It's unclear what it is exactly. Will it be cryptos or Bitcoin, or how they're going to do the wallets, or if they're going to educate the local merchants. They haven't talked to us. We're pretty involved in education in Bitcoin in Thailand, but like, and RightShift, they haven't mentioned anything to them. So, in a way, let them do whatever they're going to do, because no matter what they do, it will make faster the transition to the the right thing. So does that make sense?
Yes, but the only thing that different is, before that we have to wait for them to make a move all the time, right? For them to fix the problem for us. But right now we don't have to wait anymore. Let them do it. But we can work our way without their permission too, right?
100%.
Yes,
100%.
that is something fascinating.
This is why I love it. Like we'll wait. We don't have to wait. We're not waiting. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing the education that we're doing. But there's so much great stuff about that. So like when we saw this a year out, when they start, or 6 months ago, or maybe a year, they started mentioning this. We really wanted to help Thailand become a leader in Southeast Asia, and we saw that they're going to try this thing in October, November. So then I thought, okay, they can make a really big mistake, and it could set us back farther, and it could make it worse, and it's going to be bad. Why don't we create this Bitcoin marathon and festival event?
Oh, right.
This was my train of thought. It's like, let's use this momentum and make sure that when they do inevitably what governments do, at least there will be something strong enough in the North where representatives, new government, local government leaders, finance ministers, they could have a place to speak on this.
Totally.
Like, we've created the event, right? So like, no one thought we were serious. Now the city's involved. And I will say the deputy mayor, he's really, really good. He's young. He's an entrepreneur. He has a tech startup in healthcare. He gets it. He's intelligent. He's forward thinking. Right. It's like, there's some hope here. And he understands the difference between Bitcoin and all the other speculative things. He's very receptive to working with us and to grateful. It's really great. So what they do in Bangkok, what they do in Phuket, they do. But at least we are keeping the message very clear in the North. Right. That's why with the people want to sponsor, we're like, no, we're not accepting tokens or coins or confusion. This message is Bitcoin and freedom. So while it's more, that's a whole other topic. But yeah, so we created this opportunity, and now the city's really behind it, and they're parlaying it into their AI event, and it's during Loy Krathong, and it's expected to have 10 or 15,000 Thai people come to, see the brand and see the word Bitcoin and maybe learn more, ask more questions, have that touching point in their journey. And so this is like a super fascinating, unique opportunity to just say like, yeah, whatever they do down there, we're not going to wait. We're just going to do it anyway. And it really comes down to just education. And I'm great. And thank you for saying what we're doing up there is important. I think that what we're all doing together is important. And I'm just so proud that there's such unity in the Thai Bitcoin community.
Yes.
There's not a lot of infighting like there is in the States, and there's this camp and that camp, and everybody kind of wants to work together because they understand what's at stake here. And, we know Singapore's always been in finance, and we know that, Japan's up there, but really in Southeast Asia, like we've got a shot at doing this. Like we could really just keep doing what me and you are doing.
Exactly.
Just doing what we're doing right now, educating the people. So I think we're on the right track. And a couple of things, I have so much more I want to cover, but I'm going to kind of chop it down and ask you to maybe like do this again with me.
No, come on. Let's do that. For
you
sure.
know, because man, I'm just so excited that there's so much I want to share with you about all of this. But I think that like, man, I just have so much. Like I want to go into like how money, how Bitcoin defunds war and and I had a bunch of other questions and how it empowers regular people. But I also just wanted to talk to you just how we're talking and let it go. So like, I don't want to feel pressured to ask these other questions that I have, but more just spend time like we're talking now for the last 10 or so minutes about these opportunities. And I do think that like, this project specifically, I'm not a podcast host. Like we had this gear at the office to answer questions far away about what we were doing in the hill tribes. Like that was it. Then the kids that said, why don't we start a podcast? Because you got all the stuff in the studio, and they did. And it was so inspiring, and it's reaching, 90,000 people in 90 days. This is 1,000 people a day. Like your message is important. Hearing from people like you that really are passionate to want to help more people is inspiring. Hearing like an investor and a business leader want to help the lower, I think that there's so much that you and I share together. And when I see you light up about these things, it's like, I don't want to ask any more questions. I just want to hear you keep talking about what inspires you. But I think we have a real good shot in Thailand, and regardless of what happens, we're going to continue to forge our way forward and educating on the sound principles of Bitcoin and not let anything get distract us. And continue to develop that way and educate. Just today, I was telling the team on Slack, I'm in Switzerland today, and I had said this morning, please try to find larger groups to educate, because we've got volunteers that are really strong in Bitcoin, and we've got all those resources, and we just want to reach more people. Yeah. And what's really inspiring is that the new deputy mayor, Dr. Joe, he's helping us reach inside of the local PAO, the Provincial Administrative Organization, and educate their staff on basic savings or modern finance or we have to use these words because use words like Bitcoin or something, it might be confusing. But and now we're holding a safety course, a Bitcoin safety class, which we would call like Bitcoin self-custody or something like you and I would call. But like it's embraced and the Northern Thai Bitcoiners are from there, and they want to help their people, and like there's a sense of hope. And I really wanted to ask you about this. I wanted to ask and get your opinion. Why is Bitcoin hope for the people in Southeast Asia and Thailand, in Asia, even in the world? What in your words can you share with us of why you believe Bitcoin is hope for the people?
Right. Wow. That's just the one question, but I think there is so many points to cover up. And wow, what I will begin. Okay, let's say that when you're studying Bitcoin, you will have heard about the rabbit holes. And I think there is different rabbit holes that people will, separated rabbit holes that they go inside. That somebody interested in the technology, somebody would like to learn more about the side of the energy. They will go for the mining and everything, right? And that is very fascinating. But for me, I always thinking about the politics side of it and also the economic side of it. So mostly people will think about economics first because it's money. It's related to economy directly. But for me, I think it's become the rabbit hole I went in is the political sides. And I think the people in Southeast Asia have what could I say, the characteristics about peaceful living. We don't want to take part much in the politics and everything. We don't want to be so powerful all the time. The power, the game of power, the game of the politics always always circling around the same group of people all the time, always circling around the big businessman who would like to getting closer to the money printing, to the money creation of power that the state has. So the normal people are the one that is suffer the most from this kind of the system. And the difference is the people in Southeast Asia, in Thailand, in Burma, in Laos, in Malaysia, who is really the normal one. They are suffer most because they didn't have the willpower to fight in the system that much, comparing with the people in Europe, comparing with the people in France, in Paris. If there is anything, just only a little bit that the government do something pisses them off, they will come protesting. You will see that is really normal thing in Europe or in USA or in the Western countries, but not in Thailand. It's really hard to find a way to protest for Thai people. That's why it tends to be like we normal people will be suffer and they don't have the power to speak up. So I think, in my opinion, Thai people need the peaceful revolution more than anyone else in the world. And I think to adopting the technology like this, we don't need to be gather people to go on the street to fight with our government or to fight for our rights or to fight for our freedom. Just like that. We just using this as a peaceful revolution. And then we will fix so many problems that I think the Bitcoin can help people. Like you have told before, it's hope, and it's the saving technology that nobody can control, nobody can debase it, nobody can debase the value of the money that we are saving. And when it happens, that means that the people can plan their future much better than the money that somebody can debase all the time. So the normal people will be the one that benefit the most from this kind of money. I'm interested in investment, in investing. I know a lot about how to read the financial statements, how to read the ratio, the PE ratio, the PB ratio, the dividend yields, and everything, right? But what made me question this system is, do everybody in Thailand need to know this to be able to build their wealth? I need to go to speak with my employee or speak with other employee in the factories next to my home how to read the financial statement. They have to do this to survive in this system? No, I don't think that is the system I would like my son or my daughter to growing up. If my son or daughter would like to be an artist, they don't want to looking at financial statement of any companies at all. They don't want to know which mutual fund they have to invest in. They don't want to know which stock market in the world will go up or down tomorrow. That's just absurd. They need it's better. It's much better that they can do the work they love, creating the value for the world, and then spend less than they earn, and then save the rest in the strongest money the humankind ever created, and plan better future for themselves and for the family. That is so powerful sentences that Bitcoin have taught me, and that is something majority of people in Thailand, even though they are farmers, businessmen, janitors, and they know how to save. They might not know how to invest in the stock market, or they might not know which stock market in the world go up or down, but they know how to save. Let them save. Don't debase it. But if you keep the money in the hand of somebody that can control it, they will keep debasing it for the sake of the greater good, for the sake of the economic growth of the country. And that is not that, and you see that system working for so many years now, and you see the result of that. That is not benefit of the majority of people. Change it. That's why I love your Innovate Asia, the name of the channel. Innovation means that you need to find a new way, not to try to fix the broken system. You need to find the totally new way how to fix the problem. And I think Bitcoin can be the new way, can be the innovation that can fix this problem better than anything.
I agree.
I don't know I answering your questions or not.
You did, dude. This is so good. Okay.
Yeah.
This is just great. And I know we didn't get to a lot of the questions, and I do want to respect your time. I told you it'd be 60 to 75 minutes, and I wanted every minute of the 75 minutes because you were just, I mean, like my arms are sticking up on the way that you just went off on that last part. So I just want to thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being part of this Innovate project, Innovate Network, like you had just mentioned. We definitely have to get you on like their Thai podcast, the Thai Bitcoin podcast. I know Phi has that on the radar, but I mean, man, you're super inspiring. You're strong. You're informed, and you're passionate, and you want to help people. I have so many more questions, but I also kind of want to leave them for another one of these with you in a few weeks or a few months, because this was just so much fun.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful to do this with you. And so, yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna say thank you and hit stop right here.
Thank you very much for having me. I cannot believe that it's already an hour or two already. So it's like we have a great conversation right here, right?
So great, bro. Thank you so much. And hang out for a minute.
Hope to see you in the marathon in November.
Nice.